Montu, the god of war and desert. Chapter 1. Montu, the nomad god. Peace in the arid deserts of ancient Upper Egypt, Montu reigned supreme as the god of war and the fourth Upper Egyptian nome. His name, translating to nomad or traveler, resonated with the vast, untamed desert landscape he governed. Montu's connection to the desert made him a powerful deity for soldiers who sought his favor in battle, believing his fierce spirit would lead them to victory. Chapter 2. The symbol of strength. Montu was often depicted as a falcon-headed man adorned with a solar disk and two plumes. This imagery symbolized his connection to both the sky and the ferocity of the sun's heat. The falcon, a bird of prey, underscored his warrior nature. As a god of war, Montu was not only a divine figure, but also an embodiment of military prowess and strategic acumen. His worshippers, particularly soldiers, invoked his name before battles, trusting in his might to guide their weapons and protect them from harm. Chapter 3. Temples and Worship. The most prominent center of Montu's worship was the city of Thebes, where grand temples were erected in his honor. These structures, built with precision and grandeur, showcased the architectural excellence of the time. The temples served as places of both worship and strategic planning, where military leaders would seek Montu's blessing before embarking on campaigns. The devotion to Montu was a testament to the ancient Egyptians' understanding of the divine interplay between gods and human affairs, particularly in matters of war and conquest. Chapter 4. Legacy of Greatness. The worship of Montu extended beyond mere battle preparations. It was about harnessing the indomitable spirit of the god to achieve greatness. The soldiers and leaders who revered Montu believed that their success in battle and the subsequent expansion of their territories were direct reflections of his favor. This belief system fostered a culture of resilience and strategic brilliance that was integral to the establishment and maintenance of the powerful Egyptian state. Epilogue, reflecting on the past. The story of Montu is not just about a god of war. It is a testament to the values of strength, resilience, and strategic thinking. These attributes revered in ancient times continue to inspire us today. Understanding the past, particularly through the lens of figures like Montu, empowers us to recognize the enduring qualities that lead to greatness. By embracing the lessons of history, we can forge our own paths with the same determination and wisdom that guided the ancients. Chapter 5. Montu's influence on Egyptian warfare. Montu's influence permeated the Egyptian military strategies and tactics. Warriors would carry amulets and symbols of Montu into battle, believing these talismans would grant them strength and protection. The pharaohs themselves, seen as divine representatives on earth, often invoked Montu's name to legitimize their military campaigns. This divine endorsement was crucial in rallying the troops and the populace, embedding a sense of divine purpose in their conquests. Chapter 6. The temples as strategic hubs. The temples dedicated to Montu were not merely places of worship, but also served as strategic hubs where war strategies were formulated. Priests of Montu, considered wise and in tune with the god's will, often advised military leaders. This intertwining of religion and military strategy highlights the sophisticated nature of ancient Egyptian society, where spiritual guidance and practical tactics worked hand in hand to achieve dominance. Chapter 7. The spread of Montu's worship. As the Egyptian empire expanded, so did the worship of Montu. His temples were established in newly conquered territories, reinforcing the presence of Egyptian culture and religion. This spread served a dual purpose. It consolidated the empire's power and provided a spiritual backbone to the military might. Montu's worship became a unifying factor, instilling a shared sense of purpose and destiny among the diverse peoples within the empire. Chapter 8. Montu and Pharaoh's Divine Right. Pharaohs like Thutmose III and Ramses II, who were renowned for their military exploits, often depicted themselves as favored by Montu. These pharaohs not only expanded Egypt's borders, but also fortified their rule by presenting themselves as chosen warriors of Montu. This divine right to rule through the god of war was a powerful propaganda tool, ensuring loyalty and reverence from their subjects. Montu's story reminds us that the seeds of greatness are often sown in the most arduous of circumstances. Just as the nomad god thrived in the harsh desert, so too can we find strength and purpose in our own trials. Embracing this legacy, we can strive to achieve our goals, armed with the knowledge that within us lies the same potential for greatness that once guided the warriors and leaders of ancient Egypt. Chapter 9. Montu's Sacred Animals and Symbols. Montu was often associated with sacred animals that symbolized his warlike attributes. Besides the falcon, the bull was another prominent representation of Montu, signifying strength and virility. Bulls dedicated to Montu were considered sacred and were often kept in the gods' temples. These animals were seen as earthly manifestations of Montu's power, and their presence in rituals and ceremonies reinforced the gods' omnipresent influence on warfare and strength. Chapter 10. Montu's Role in Festivals and Celebrations. Montu played a significant role in various festivals and celebrations, particularly those related to military victories. The Opet festival, held annually in Thebes, included processions that honored Montu alongside other deities. These festivals not only reinforced the god's connection to the ruling pharaoh, but also celebrated the unity and strength of the Egyptian state. During such events, grand offerings were made and elaborate ceremonies were conducted to ensure Montu's continued favor. Chapter 11. The Cult of Montu in Nubia. Montu's influence extended beyond Egypt into Nubia, where the god was also revered. The Nubian pharaohs who ruled both Nubia and Egypt during the 25th dynasty particularly embraced Montu's warlike attributes. They built temples and monuments in his honor, solidifying his worship in the region. This adoption of Montu's cult by the Nubian rulers highlights the god's universal appeal and the shared cultural and religious values between Nubia and Egypt. Chapter 12. Montu in Art and Architecture. The representation of Montu in art and architecture reflects the high regard in which he was held. Temples dedicated to Montu, such as the one at Medamud near Thebes, featured grand statues and reliefs depicting the god in his various forms. These artistic works not only served religious purposes, but also communicated the god's might and the state's power to the populace. The architecture of Montu's temples often included large open courtyards and massive pylons, symbolizing strength and resilience. Chapter 13. The Enduring Legacy of Montu. The legacy of Montu endured well into the later periods of Egyptian history. Even as other gods rose to prominence, Montu remained a potent symbol of military might and resilience. The Ptolemaic and Roman periods saw continued worship of Montu, indicating his lasting significance. The enduring nature of Montu's worship is a testament to the god's deep-seated role in the collective psyche of the Egyptians. Chapter 14. Montu's Integration into Egyptian Pantheon. Montu's integration into the broader Egyptian pantheon highlights his significant role among the gods. Despite being a war deity, Montu was also associated with Ra, the sun god. This connection elevated Montu's status, aligning his warlike attributes with the creative and sustaining power of the sun. The Egyptians saw Montu not just as a god of destruction, but also as a protector and preserver of the balance, embodying the dual nature of war and peace. Chapter 15. The Influence on Military Doctrine. The worship of Montu influenced the Egyptian military doctrine profoundly. The reverence for Montu instilled a culture of discipline and honor among the soldiers. Military leaders often invoked Montu's name in oaths, binding their troops to a divine code of conduct. This practice ensured a highly motivated and loyal fighting force, crucial for maintaining Egypt's territorial integrity and expanding its influence. Chapter 16. Montu and the Pharaoh's Divine Kingship. Montu's association with the pharaohs underscored the divine nature of kingship in ancient Egypt. Pharaohs were seen as earthly representatives of the gods, and their ability to lead in war was considered a direct reflection of Montu's favor. This divine kingship was central to the pharaoh's legitimacy and authority. Military victories were celebrated not just as human achievements, but as manifestations of Montu's will, reinforcing the divine right to rule. Chapter 17. Montu's Role in Rituals and Sacrifices. Rituals dedicated to Montu were elaborate and often included animal sacrifices, particularly bulls, symbolizing the god's strength and virility. These rituals were conducted to invoke Montu's blessing and ensure victory in battles. Priests performed these ceremonies with meticulous care, believing that any mistake could result in the god's displeasure. The rituals were a testament to the Egyptians' deep belief in the god's direct involvement in human affairs. Chapter 18. The Archaeological Evidence. Archaeological discoveries have shed light on the worship of Montu, revealing inscriptions, statues, and temples dedicated to the god. The Temple of Montu at Todd, for example, contains numerous inscriptions detailing the god's attributes and the rituals performed in his honor. These findings provide a window into the religious practices and societal values of ancient Egypt, emphasizing the importance of Montu in their culture. Chapter 19. Montu's Symbolism in Modern Culture. The symbolism of Montu has transcended ancient times and found a place in modern culture. His image as a fierce warrior and protector continues to inspire. Modern interpretations of Montu often highlight his attributes of strength, resilience, and strategic acumen. These qualities resonate in various fields, from military academies to leadership training programs, where Montu's legacy is invoked to inspire courage and determination. Kindly click like, share, and subscribe to this channel.